Hi everyone, I'm Marie and we are coming to you live from Living Felt because it's Happy Woolly Wednesday! Oh, happy Wednesday, friends! And I know you all are here to see our very special guest, Natasha Smart of Natasha Smart Textiles, and we are so excited to introduce you to her. I promise it's going to be a fun show. You're going to get to meet a delightful human, learn about her felting journey, and learn more about her amazing felt bags and her new class coming up on feltingtutorials.com. So say hi in the chat. If you're new, say it's your first show. Let our friends welcome you. Hi to all of our friends across the pond and everyone who stayed up late for this fantastic day. We are happy you're here. So if you participate in the live chat, you get a chance to win a prize, and there is a very special prize for today's show. If you're watching the replay, participate because you'll get a chance to win also. So comment, y'all. Let us hear from you. I want to say hi to a few folks. Nicola Moore is in the UK, as is Linda Best. Thank you all. I know it's late there. Jacqueline is in Holland. Our friend Christina in Poland. Always nice to have you here, dear. Gabriella is all the way in the Czech Republic. Laura King is in Pennsylvania. Peg Elliott right down the road here in Texas. Jan Scott in Ottawa. So nice to have you. I'm going to pause right there because we give away prizes in the beginning for watching and commenting last week. And our two winners from last week are Jan Scott from Ottawa, Canada, and Audrey Wolter. I don't know where you are, Wolter, but thank y'all for commenting after the live show last week. You win a needle felting, a mouse kit or mouse ornaments. That was a double that we did. If you already have it, just let us know and we'll send you something else. So thank you so much for chatting and participating. Hi to Laura in Maine, Dawn in Arizona, Tammy in South Carolina, Dillis all the way in Suffolk, UK. Thank you all for being here. It's going to be a really fun show. Now, so the fairies are here spreading their magic and goodness as always, but we're saving extra time for you to meet with Natasha, except we have our very funny in the field with a little yoke for you. Welcome, Fairy Kayla.
Hey everybody, Fairy Kayla here, and happy Woolly Wednesday! I'm so glad to be here and to see all of you. I heard we got Natasha Smart in the house. Woo! That's awesome. Glad you're here with us, and I hope you're having a good time. I just wanted to pop in real quick and share some funniness with you as always. And so, super serious question, as always. What is a scarecrow's favorite fruit?
What is a scarecrow's favorite fruit?
They like strawberries. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have fun today and have fun with the rest of your trip, Natasha, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Kayla, and thank you, everyone, for putting up with our little bit of kookiness. We like to just have fun and play around here, not take things too seriously, which is why I know you're going to love our very special guest today. Please give a BFF welcome for the lovely and talented Natasha Smart. Yay! Come on in. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's been a long time in the planning, hasn't it? So it's lovely to be here finally.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. And you all know, I get to just sit across from talented people like you and watch you felt. She is in the studio filming for a class for felting tutorials. So for those of you who are just stumbling upon our feed, we are Living Felt based in Central Texas. We are also feltingtutorials.com, have teachers coming from all over the country and all over the world. And Natasha, you've come from the UK.
I have.
And we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad. We're going to have a little visit, so y'all tuck in, grab some tea or a snack, and let's hang out for a little bit. Have a seat, girlfriend. And thank you all so much for being here. I know that many of you know Natasha. We ooh and ah over all of her Instagram videos and all that she shares and teases out. And so this is just a great opportunity for everyone just to get to meet you a little bit. Thank you. Yeah. Well, we've been having an amazing time in the studio. She's filming a class, and we promised to tell you all about that. But there's so much to share. And, everybody always just wants to know, how did you even come to felting in the first place? So just share with us a little bit about how you got started.
Yes. Well, I was always a crafty child, so I did lots of sewing projects, especially with my nan. I can remember making all sorts of things. I learned how to use a sewing machine quite young, actually, because she had one. So I was always doing different things like that, and always interested in textiles in particular. She knitted, and I know she tried to teach me once, but I'm afraid the knitting just didn't stick. But actually things like hand embroidery, sewing and things like that, and actually always working with felt. I can remember making
commercial felt.
Yes, commercial felt. So making little peg dolls, and then you'd make little clothes to decorate the peg dolls. And I can remember doing that sort of thing. And whether that's what started the love of felt, I don't know. But I was always really, really sort of interested in using felts. And I started, so I was always doing things, even as an adult. I was making cards. I remember my mum getting me into cross stitch, so I did a bit of that. Aww. So you do all sort, you sort of dabble, don't you?
Right.
I think most of us, particularly when you're into textile, you dabble in all sorts of different things, don't you? Right. Before you perhaps find the thing that you really, really, that really hooks you. And so yeah, I did all sorts of things, but I started making sewn handbags. I was doing that for quite a while, and using a lot of felt, which I was using as applique, and then sort of sewing on the front of these bags. So I think that was where the felt thing really came in for me, and I really wanted to learn how to felt. I can remember wanting to learn how to do it for a long time, but not quite knowing where to start.
So you probably had more exposure to felt being in the UK than we get here, because most of the time I meet people, they've never even seen felt before. Okay. They don't recognize it unless it's commercial felt. So learning how to felt, I guess you saw more of that where you are?
Maybe. I can remember playing with fuzzy felt as a child. I think we've probably all done that, haven't we?
Oh, people are already gushing over your purses behind us. So yeah, some of you have guessed. These are
really
Natasha's bags, and we'll give y'all a nice intimate look up at those in a moment. Now, you were working like a regular job when you started to really delve into this. So tell them how you got your first introduction to actually making handmade felt.
Making handmade felt.
Yeah.
So I started to I did a course. It was a foundation course in textiles, which is something that people often do as a precursor to sort of going into higher education. And I was very lucky that my work and my very supportive husband Steve,
hi Steve,
sort of said, if you want to go and do this, you go for it. And I was very lucky to be able to do that. And I did a 2-year. Marie's agreeing with envy about this because I've already told her. Not a 2-year. It was a 2-day-a-week, a 1-year course. So
that's amazing.
A part-time course, and it was fabulous because we did all sorts of things there to do with textiles. So, shibori dyeing. Machine knitting, screen printing, and wet felting. So I think in about the first term of the course, which was really exciting, that's when I first learned to wet felt, and well, here we are. So that was back in 2005.
Yeah,
so
05. So a while ago.
Quite
and
a while.
In fact, she's brought with us a picture of some of her very first just felt samples, right, from your notebook. So this is fun to look at. Tell us just what we're looking at in this picture.
So yes, we were talking earlier, and it's really funny how Nuno felting is one of those things that is sort of seen as something that you come across a bit later in your felting journey, perhaps. And this is where you felt into fabric, and actually for some weird reason, it was one of the first things we did on this course. So we were making. It's just a sample.
So this is nanofelt. So we're looking at silk, or is that cotton scrim?
So that's cotton scrim, because I think we started the shibori dyeing was quite early in the course. So I think I'd dyed that piece of cotton scrim fabric and then felted into it with merino wool.
So fun. That's so fun.
Actually, I'm quite proud of that. Now I look at it, I think, that's quite good.
And it's so great that you still have it, right? That you have it in your notebook, and you have it you can look back on and remember those times. Yeah, fantastic. So fun. And actually, you shared with us that in that course, you worked up to a very large completion project. And tell us, we have a picture of that also for you all. This is so fabulous. So here, tell us about this, Natasha.
Oh, look at me there.
I love that.
So I had because it was a course, so obviously we were progressing projects to a theme, and I had a Russian folk art inspired theme, and so based on sort of the colours of a Matryoshka doll, which are the traditional one is red and yellow, and so I was kind of exploring those colours and created a dress out of pieces of Nuno felt. So I hand dyed, so shibori dyed pieces of the cotton scrim fabric in sort of reds, yellows and oranges, and then I Nuno felted onto them, so felted the merino wool fibre in similar colours in the patterns of the shibori. So you can see on the dress where I've got there's pieces there in sort of different patterns.
It's so fun.
And and then hand sewed them together. So of course that was in the days before I knew about seamless wet felting to construct things. But so I really liked it at the time. I was really proud of it, and of having made that. So
it's fantastic. So she dyed the fabric, wet felted segments of fabric, you made handmade felt and sewed it into the dress and sewed it into the handbag. And I want you all to know that lovely themed wallpaper behind her piece, she made that too, and that was just and she says she still has it.
I do.
So,
rolled up somewhere.
Yeah, and the dress is on display in your studio, which we're going to get to peek at in a little bit later. And we're watching your questions come in. We're going to get to a lot of these great questions, so keep them coming, y'all, and we're going to get to them. Now, some of the things we always think about when we see someone who, is so creative and producing so much is everyone wants to know, did you study art? So beyond your creativity as a child, and before we jump to that, I want to show pictures. Before we jump to that, did you, in between your child exploration and your adult course dedicated to textiles, did you study art in between, or what did you learn about what you appreciate about art?
Only I did the sort of standard. You do exams obviously at age 15, 16 when you leave school at the sort of standard age, and so I did. Art was one of the subjects that I studied, but I would say that it was mainly drawing and painting type art. I didn't do textiles then. I'm not sure in those days whether I don't think we had sort of textile courses in the same way that we perhaps do now. So it's a shame. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
So just sort of standard drawing art, really. I think so. Nothing particularly special.
But how old were you when you discovered felting?
So that was, well, I'd like to say 21, but of course that I'd be lying if I said that. 30 something. 30 something.
That sounds right. Yeah. That sounds right. So you found yourself working, going what? To share what the question you asked, yeah.
I think it's just one of those things you think, you get to a certain point, might have done a decade or so in a career, and you're thinking, so is this it? Have I got another 25 or 30 years of this to go until I retire?
So your creative spirit was just looking for
I think so.
The avenue to express.
I think more of an outlet than I was getting just from a normal sort of professional corporate job.
Right.
So I'd always done things still, crafty. I mean, Steve, my husband, always, we talk about, I always used to make him birthday cards and cards for anniversaries and things like that, which I think he always says that he didn't really get it at first. Why would she do that? But I think it was just one of those ways of wanting to do something creative.
Yeah, we do that too. Yeah. It's always a handmade card in our house.
Yeah, that's nice. But I don't think he quite got it at the beginning, but I think he's quite a creative person himself, so I think he certainly gets it now. There is a kind of drive in you, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, just to express,
to sort of make things.
And it's not new, right, for you? So we have some cute pictures that y'all have to see. So first, the kindergarten kind of one where she's has some very simple things, but you're making art out of it, aren't you? Your little beads. Do you know what you're making there?
I've got no idea.
But you're not just playing with beads. You're designing something there. You have something going on. But there's sort of this prelude to what would be your life later, and we have this baby picture, you and a dishpan full of soapy water.
This is just a a premonition of my future life.
Exactly.
Frankly, of
This
me and bowls of soapy water.
A future that is to come, Natasha, and this dishpan of soapy water, which I see lots of you asking. Oh, sorry. A lot of you asking questions. I want to make sure I read them too. So a lot of people asking questions about the ball, and let's answer just a couple. So some people are asking about the ball and what ball she felts with. We're going to have her tell us how she got started with the ball. Let's show you the ball that she's felting with, and this is it right here. Yeah, this is the ball. So this is living felt. We call it the Bertha ball. And this is the ball that you felt over.
I do. This is and it's a purpose-made ball. So it's not, because I get asked this question quite a lot. And yes, you can use any kind of ball, but actually this one is perfect because it's got a really nice, slightly tacky surface, which is good for adhering sort of temporarily your fibres on. And also it's inflatable and deflatable, so definitely reusable. I do, as you know, quite a lot of videos on social media, and I sometimes get people who they're almost quite angry and they say, "Is that just plastic that you're going to throw away?" And I think maybe they think it's a balloon or something.
Oh.
But I say, no, I've been using them for years. And in fact, we were laughing. I think the first balls that I ever bought from you at Living Felt was back in 2014.
Yeah.
And I'm still using them
That's
regularly.
fabulous. Yeah.
And for
Inflate
workshops.
yeah.
And they're still going strong. The only time that I've ever had a casualty was when I had I'd made something and there was just a little edge on the corner where some fibres hadn't adhered, and I thought, I'll just get my felting needle. You say, yeah, you know what's going to happen here. And I thought, just really carefully, I'll be able to do that. No, I punctured the ball. So
you
don't ever
not
do
for
that.
needle felting.
Don't ever put a felting needle near the ball. So that I've only ever had one casualty.
Oh,
so I
I
think
love it.
That's pretty good
That's
in all this time, isn't it?
Yeah. And we have two balls. We have Bertha ball and Little B, which is a smaller ball, and this one inflates to the size that you use in your workshops and your classes and projects. So this is the ball. Some of you are asking about it, and let's talk about how you got started felting on a ball, because it's been around for a while. So we shared that the person who discovered wet felting over a ball was Beth Bede in 1975. The process was very different then, but how did you come to it?
So after I'd done my textile course, I joined the International Feltmakers Association, the IFA, and I think that was quite early on, in about 2007, and they're set up regionally in the UK, and so I got in touch with my regional coordinator, and they were offering workshops occasionally, so I started doing a few workshops with them, so that was good, just for it's all developing your skills, meeting people as well locally who are felters, because we're a kind of, we were saying, weren't we? We're a small niche group, so we have to kind of stick together. Yeah. And one of the workshops that was organised was felting on a ball with a lady called, American felter called Ruth Walker. Hello, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth. Yeah, a lot of you will know Ruth's name. I know she was already on the scene when I started felting too. Okay. Yeah, you've got to know the name Ruth Walker.
Yeah, and so I made 2 bags on a ball with her during this workshop. And
fantastic. Yeah.
I don't know what it was about the technique, but obviously it grabbed me, and so that's 10 years ago, and I've been felting on a ball ever since. Yeah,
that's what she's so often known for. And you know, the interesting thing is, so the original technique that was taught is very, very different, and one of the things that I really appreciate is how much you've really turned this into a methodology that is repeatable. It's thoughtful. It helps through so much troubleshooting when you're wet felting over a resist, let alone a 3D resist. And you've made it so that people can have success over and over and be really, and have great outcomes of what they're creating, very specific things. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
It's I really like creating. I mean, we've talked about recipes, and that's how I view it. I want to be able to repeat things.
Yeah.
I weigh everything, so I always weigh all my fibre,
Right.
so that I know, and I make copious notes in a little book, because I want to be able to repeat things, and I quite enjoy the whole testing side of things.
Yeah.
So if I add a bit more fibre here, or if I increase the size of something here, what effect does that have? And I find that all quite interesting.
Right.
And that side of things, and then eventually it leads you towards, obviously, a finished result that you're more happy with.
Yeah, and their purses are fabulous. So I saw someone asked about the durability of the purses, and do they hold up to normal daily wear? And I'll let you answer that, but I do want to say that these bags are very well felted. They're very firmly felted, and so that's the best start to having a bag that's going to be hard wearing, if that's the goal. But share with them a little bit about the practicality of using a felted bag for daily use.
Well, I think they're great. Perhaps I would, though, wouldn't I? I have a smaller purse bag that I've made for myself a couple of years ago, and I don't make much for myself, but I did make myself a little bag, and that's been great. They get slightly softer with use, which actually is quite a lovely quality. They do pill a little bit, yes, because when you've got anything, I think, that's rubbing against your body, as a bag does, it's a bit like, I suppose, a jumper.
Yeah.
With the underarms of a jumper, you get pilling, don't you? And it's that rubbing together or rubbing something against it. So yes, you'll get a little bit of pilling, but what I tend to do is, just like with a jumper, use a pilling tool or scissors or a razor or something, and just sort of
take them off.
Shave it off, so I don't find it a big deal. So I often get asked, "Oh, will they get? What happens if they get wet?"
Exactly.
That's a regular question.
How do you wash it?
Well, it was born from water.
Exactly.
Born
That's
part of the
exactly
wet
what I
process.
say. Yeah. I think we have a photo of at least the first or second bag that Natasha ever felted over a ball. So tell us about this fantastic.
So this is the one that I made on the course, the second one I made on the course with Ruth. And we used she'd brought some silk fabric. So that's a big, thick piece of silk going right around the middle.
Oh, very nice.
So there was a Nuno felted element there. And then I've got what has since become my real trademark, which is wool yarns. So I'd taken those to the workshop. So I've got some mohair yarn and some of my favourite mohair boucle yarn. So really textural, lovely chunky yarn in lovely colours. Hairy yarn's always really good for felting, because it adheres to the fibres really well. So it's a great thing to use in felting. So that was an early bag with some wool yarns, and that really has been, I suppose, if I've got a trademark material that I use, it's wool yarns. I just love them.
They're beautiful.
I've got it's a spice rack converted on the wall of my studio, and it's full of my boucle yarns.
That sounds fun.
And it's in the position where I stand and look at it as I'm felting, and I find that it really inspiring, actually. I just love the colours of it. So wool yarns, are definitely my thing, I think.
Fun. And I see that some people are asking they're asking to see one of the felted bags up close. So we pulled off the shelf here one of her felt purses. And here's the beautiful yarn texture that she's talking about. Now the straps are tucked in. I'm going to keep them tucked in so they don't bang around on the table. A fantastic toggle clasp, nice durable flap, just beautiful. Well assembled here, so it's a very durable bag, and just so fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And you can see actually how well felted everything is. The idea here is that those yarns become so embedded in with the rest of the fibre that it becomes a new fabric. It's a new combined fabric.
Right.
They're not just lying on the top. They're actually properly felted into the fibre.
And this would even help reduce the pilling to some degree, having this topical treatment, something just right on top of it, just a little less of those end fibers exposed.
Yes.
Yeah, these purses are so wonderful, and So someone asked, do you line the bags? Do you tend to line the bags, or you just keep wool as the interior?
Just keep wool as the interior. What I quite like doing is using a different colour for the inside layer of fibre that I put on.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a little splash of something else inside, which I always think is quite nice. But I can't see the extra benefit of lining the bag actually. So, and they're thick enough that you don't need a separate lining. It doesn't need that extra in
durability wise. You don't need it. You could do it if you wanted to for some reason, like a silk lining
absolutely.
for something, but you don't need to. And she has a variety of handles, sometimes felted, sometimes purchased, right, assembled, and we're going to show you the backpack up close in a little bit, but I want to touch on the fact that once you moved to a new home and built yourself a new studio, and you began sharing more, and I think we have some fun pictures. It's such a treat to get to see where each other works or where we create. So we have some photos maybe of your first studio.
This wasn't really much of a studio. I've done quite a few open studios events. Obviously, they're those sort of two-week periods where the public can come and visit you. And when we very first moved to Devon in the UK, it's in the southwest of the UK. I live in a seaside town, and we'd moved there. I'd signed up. This is typical of me. So we didn't move until we moved in the end in the June. And I'd had to sign up in January for the event that was going to be in September. But it took so long for us to organise to move. It just wasn't happening, and it was June until we moved. And I was really, really worrying about whether we'd even be there for me to get involved in this event. Luckily, we were. But of course, we'd only lived in our house for 3 months. So this is the garage
before it was converted. That's fun.
So we closed, and they're just concrete. They're just a concrete shell, aren't they?
Sure.
The garage. So we've got that old tarpaulin, sort of dividing up. There's probably lawnmowers and other household junk behind that.
Fantastic.
That tarpaulin. But yes, so that was my first version of a studio, and I did a bit of work in there while I could.
Oh, and now we have a picture of her studio now as it's been converted.
I tidied up especially.
Fantastic space. So this is where you teach classes. So tell us a little bit about this space now.
So this is the garage converted. You can see my wall yarn art there on the right hand side, and the dress is there too. So it's always lovely having that there. And it's so lovely having your own space where you can work, you can display everything just how you want. It's totally different to how you have your own home, isn't it?
Yes.
And how you sort of set things up. And it's just lovely being able to keep things. And I don't just display things that I've made. I've got things from other artists. Right. Just lovely pottery. We live in a seaside town, as I've said, so anything that's beach inspired or seashell related or anything natural and organic, which are the kinds of things that inspire me in my wet felting. So I've got all sorts of things in there. I think I've even crammed more things in since that picture was taken.
And then here's you teaching a class with the Val.
Here's an early class, and people really, really respond to it. People love coming, and I think it's so different felting on a board. It's such a visual and very physical sort of activity. People really enjoy doing it, and so this is us putting some yarns on the board to decorate a set of bags that these group of ladies are going to be making.
So wonderful. Yeah, it's really great. And then here, tell us what you're working on here.
So that's me. So that's a stretched out journal cover, sort of notebook journal cover, which I then put handmade paper pages in. I didn't make the handmade paper, I hasten to add.
The people are saying that they like your laminate floor in the studio, that they love your space. Someone says, I wish my closet looked like this.
I wish the rest of my house looked like this, actually.
People are very excited to learn about the baskets and the balls and all the things and the lampshades. And so while we're going to tell you about Natasha's Natasha's class where you could learn how to wet felt the backpack over a ball, she does have a book called Wet Felting, and this book is really a great introductory book for someone who is wanting to learn how to wet felt. You sort of start at the beginning, don't you?
Very
And
much.
introduce people to fibers. You talk about fibers and techniques and the basics. There's sort of the
Yes.
basics of felting, and a lot of the fibers that you use, and some things that we carry as well, and combinations of things. But you start with a very beginner approach, or talking about 2D flat felting. These are some really fun projects that you chose
Thank you.
for the 2D flat felting.
But you can see, even though these were flat pieces of felt that have been made, I then couldn't resist giving them some structure.
Yeah. So these are actual projects that she teaches in the book, and I'll just look through. You can get this book on Amazon, by the way.
Yes.
I did as well. You can make this fun lampshade. That's fantastic. And Natasha will share with you some of the tools and things or other supports that you might get for that. And then this is a little pocketbook, little purse.
Clutch purse.
Yeah.
And again, using all sorts of different yarns. I just can't help myself, I think.
Yeah, it's texture, isn't it?
Yes.
It's really. So this book is available on Amazon. If y'all are looking, search for Wet Felting and search her name, Natasha Smart. You can buy it on Amazon in the U.S. as well as the U.K. So I encourage you to go out and get one. But you advanced through to increasing levels of difficulty,
Yes.
and you teach how to wet felt a vessel over the ball.
So yes, starting off with a vessel, because that's the simplest sort of shape. We
Right.
haven't got all these extra bits and pieces that we need to felt in, as you would with a bag. So yes, we've got a simple vessel. This one's using an art bat.
Yeah, here's the art bat right here. Mm-hmm.
So where you sometimes buy these beautiful things at shows, and then you don't know quite what to do with them,
Or
because
you card your
don't
own.
use them. Oh yes, of course, carding your own even better.
Let's card our own. Progressing up to what is a really fun yarn circles basket. Really great baskets. And here's the ball. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, the ball, yeah, very important.
Great basket. Great yarn. Oh yeah, use it for yarn. A great little yarn basket. Maybe even a knitting basket or something like that. Project basket. So cute. So
you.
y'all can get this book. And we also want to encourage you to follow Natasha. She is online, and we've included her social media links in the description as well. So here's her descriptions there. So, see what she's doing. You're always sharing on social media the things that you're making. And as she said, it's been a long time coming for her to come here and teach this class. And you stretched yourself a little bit, didn't you, for this project? You
I
reached for a new level.
Dug deep.
Yeah. And so we want to show you this fantastic project that she's come up with. It is a backpack on a ball. And this is, first of all, I love the colors that you chose.
Thank you.
It's very beautiful. And we're going to have two here in the shop, this one and the purple one behind me. But not only, so it's a backpack, if you will. So you could wear this as a backpack just like this. And it's adjustable for different sizes. She's going to teach you how to felt these handles. She's going to tell you exactly the materials you need, the length of materials you need, the exact size to make them. You're going to learn how to felt in this hardware, which is just amazing. It really makes it a very, very durable bag. She's going to teach you how to do that. It's also got the flap, like your purse. It's very durable. It's all
Yes.
integrated, so it's a very strong piece. But not only is it a backpack, it also can be a purse. So you can lengthen that strap and wear it like a purse. Here's a good look at it. And you can lengthen them and make it like a crossbody bag as well.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So, but that's not all. You're going to love this. So here, she's built in a pocket right here in the front, which is really so practical. A pocket right there. Built in a pocket right there in the front. And it's very well integrated, durable pocket, but there's also a pocket inside. And what I love about this pocket is it's deep enough for
big.
your cell phone. It's deep enough for a modern day cell phone. The whole bag is thick It's durable. It's incredibly well made. It's very practical.
Thank you.
Textural, practical, all the things you like. Right?
And
Functional.
no sewing involved. If you're someone who doesn't want to do any sewing, there's no sewing.
No sewing involved. And this will be an exclusive class on feltingtutorials.com. So there's the link is right up there. If you're not in the school, you darn well should be, because you can sign up for free. We have free classes.
I'm in the school.
She's in the school. Oh, let's show a hat. So she took a class by Dawn Edwards. A lot of you have met Dawn. She's been here a few times, and look at this hat Natasha made from Dawn's class. Sweet. That's a model photo. Nice shot. That hat is
Thank
fantastic.
I had a lot of fun doing that. It's again, we've talked when you're teaching yourself, you don't have a lot of time to do courses, but actually I really wanted to do Dawn's. I haven't made many hats, so I was really taken with that project, so I had a lot of fun doing that. It was really good.
Yeah, really fun. Now, of course, that hat was made over a flat resist. Natasha has become really well known for wet felting over a ball, which is a 3D resist, and Jan Scott asked, what do you consider the advantages of wet felting over a ball versus, working over a flat resist? Why do you like it?
Yes.
Because this bag could be made over a flat
Absolutely,
resist.
it
but
could.
what do you like about it?
I think there are a few things. First of all, it gives you, with a flat resist, you're always having to create depth, to stretch the felt, to sort of create the depth in a piece. So working around the ball, you've got the depth already, so you don't actually need to worry about doing that. So it's giving you the structure right from the off,
right,
the right
form.
structure and form and shape. So that's something. Another advantage, I think, is you can create properly seamless items. So again, when you've got a flat resist, of course you can very carefully put your fibre around the edges, but you've always got a kind of seam there, which is always a slightly tricky bit that you might be trying to sort of avoid it thickening up and being a very thick edge. So for a proper seamless result, the ball is brilliant for that. And I also like the fact that it gives you the ability to create a really truly sort of continuous design. Again, when you're working on two sides of a flat resist, you have
to flip it a lot to do it.
You're checking, have I got the right level that side? Oh, I've got a bit of that colour there. Do I need it on the other side? Whereas with the ball, you're just sort of moving it around.
It's easier to envision what you're trying to achieve. Yeah.
So I think for me, there's quite a lot of advantages. The other thing, if you're somebody who doesn't like rolling felt, which I know lots of people have trouble with, back trouble, and they don't enjoy rolling that action, then obviously are the different sort of actions that we use. People will have seen bouncing in particular.
Yeah.
So that could be an advantage for people with it's a different technique.
Right. It's definitely has less physical requirements to wet felt over a ball than it does to wet felt flat and roll. Yeah.
I think so. You haven't got, and the whole action of the rubbing that you would be doing on say a large flat piece would be different too. So it's
you go up instead of out. Yeah. So people are asking about the thickness. These are a pretty good thickness. If we can at least give a little bit of a visual, you can see how the bag and the flap are about the same thickness, so they have a very nice density. The bags that we're making in the class are made with the Bergschaft.
Yes.
The Bergschaft fiber, because it's got a nice coarseness. It's going to give you a nice support, having like a stiff, well-formed shape, and also it's going to be a little more. Lots of fibers can be used because you could, as well as you felt it, can be really dense, but it's really nice.
It retains a nice soft sort of feel at the end, I think, actually.
Yeah, while still being durable. How long if you were just making a backpack all by yourself, or if like someone were endeavoring even to make one for the first time, how long would you tell them to plan to make? Like if they take your class, how long should they plan? A weekend,
I would
to finish
say
it?
You've also got this. If you were going to make the strap as well, which actually you don't have to. There's other materials you could use.
And we touch on
a
that,
ready-made
right?
strap, yes. So I would say probably a couple of days for making the actual backpack.
Right.
And then so maybe 2 to 3 days for doing the whole thing. Perhaps.
Yeah, like maybe a weekend starting to set up Friday night and getting things going, and because there's eating, laundry, and life happens in between felting. I know there was another question. So someone asked. So when will the class be available? And for the backpack class, we're targeting that you could be making your backpack before Christmas. Our goal is the first week of December to have the class online and ready. So again, if you're not in the school already, set up your free account now. Try one of the free classes just so you see how the material is presented and you get familiar with making sure you get the email and making sure you get the cues and know how all that works. Because what happens is we're going to have an early bird. We always let you sign up like at least a week in advance so you can get your supply lists. You can order your supplies or whatever you're missing, whatever you need. And then the class usually starts the next week. And Natasha will be there in class chat to answer questions. Yeah, and you have a place to share with your fellow students what you're making or what you're doing.
Really look forward to seeing what people make. That's so exciting.
So fun, right?
Really.
You can earn a badge if you finish, but if you make the project, then you can earn a completion certificate saying you did the thing, and then beside you have the thing. Like then you have this fantastic backpack. It's so beautiful. What else? I want to tell you that in this class, Natasha's really going to share with you like all the little teeny tiny tips that are going to lead you to success. She's really worked out the little trouble spots and will give you the guidance so that they don't give you trouble. And she's broken it down into just a really simple method that I think is approachable for anyone. I wouldn't make it your first wet felting project probably. You want to make the pancake, the flat felt first, try the fireable first, maybe even try the grab and go beanie first, just so that you felt it over or resist, like one of those two. But this is a really fun project for people to make. Yeah.
It's very doable, I think. We've broken it down into chunks. So if you just take it slowly and methodically and get everything prepared, I think anyone could do it.
Yeah. So some people want to see the purple bag. This one here. So here's a look at let's look at it overhead first so they can see. I'm not going to de-stuff it, but beautiful colors in this one also, Natasha.
Really pretty. I found somebody who hand dyes these wool yarns in amazing colors, and I just love them. Really lovely. But these are the sorts of things, although you can find them hand dyed, you can also find things from normal yarn suppliers, sell different types of mohair, so online suppliers, places like Etsy, you can find hand dyed dyed pieces. So none of what we're showing you or we've included is difficult to get hold of.
Right. Now, some people are asking about making other things on the ball. So like there's a question up about the cat cave on a ball. So,
yes.
I mean, that's really big to make because there's the whole shrinkage factor, right? So have you ever endeavored to make a cat, over a yoga ball or? We were talking about that.
Yet, because you would be doing it in the bath, wouldn't you? That's the only receptacle big enough, I think, that you could be actually felting the thing in.
We were talking about that because when I first started wet felting, one of the first things I did was felt over a ball. And as I mentioned, the process was very different. Natasha's really worked out a process that I love. I can't wait to try her methods. But a friend of mine and I were talking about this before they were cat caves. I had dogs, and I thought, what if we made them? We called it like an igloo or a hut, but... have fun with that. So, it's really big. You've got to control it. So what I would say is make the bag first and then decide whether you want to tackle the cat cave over a ball. Yeah, because there's things to manage. She's going to tell you the exact size pan to get, the bowls, the pans, the materials you need. Make a small one first and then endeavor to go big. And someone else asked, can you make hats on the ball?
Yes, absolutely. And I am actually working on book number 2 Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
It's coming up. Although I haven't done very much yet, but don't tell my publisher that. But there's definitely going to be a hat and a cat carry.
Oh, that's fun. That's one of the first things I made was purses and hats on a ball. That's the first thing I learned how to do. But mine was just a roll-up beanie. It wasn't a brim. It wasn't a hat on a brim. So yeah, definitely. And a cat cave. You could do a cat cave.
I've got an idea.
She's got an idea
of how it could work.
Yeah, I think
obviously
you
for
should
very
check that
small
out.
kittens only.
Okay, so a couple of people are asking about how the classes work. How the classes work in the school, and definitely take a free class so that you understand. First of all, they're always available. So once you sign up, as long as you keep your free account, then you can go back to the class over and over, and you can watch any lesson you want over and over. We break the paid classes up, because they're longer, into a bunch of little lessons, and you can jump back to any portion that you want. There's a note-taking function, so you can grab, just take on-screen notes while you're working on a project. If you like, you can reference back to those. So yes, you can watch them repeatedly. Most of the classes have a kit. For this course, I imagine we'll have like a kit bundle. So in that case, the ball is easy. You can buy the ball. The wool packs will be simple, because in this you can take either a one color recipe or a two color recipe. That she teaches a 2-color recipe in the class. It'd be very simple. And even if there isn't an exact kit to fit your needs, then you'll find a great shopping list. Especially for people who aren't in the U.S., which, oh, by the way, we didn't mention that Natasha is the UK stockist for our balls for our friends across the pond. Yeah, so if you're looking for the birth ball or the little bee, then you go to Natasha Smart Textile.
In fact, I do need a few more, so we might need to talk about that later.
Yes. So she carries the balls, and that will really help if you are in the UK or if you're in that direction and you don't want to pay the big shipping fees from us here in the States or the duties, then you can buy them from Natasha. Yeah. So that's just fun right there. That's good. What else? What is the total weight? Well, we want to get too specific. Does it take a lot of wool? It doesn't really take all that much wool. When you take the class, you're going to get all of the specifics of the weights and the details and all of those things. All of those particular little things will be revealed. The wools to choose. If the Bergschaft or something else, we'll make recommendations in the supplies list, so you know what you can pick. What else? Oh, let's see. So someone says they attended one of Natasha's workshops. Who is that up there at the top there? Linda Best.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I know you all are super excited. We're excited to bring this class to you. What's next? So your book is what's next.
Yes, next book. I really need to knuckle down there. But actually, I really enjoy it. That's part of it for me, I think. My brain really enjoys the sort of the working out part of wet felting, because obviously with things like shrinkage, such a big issue. So everything that you do, the end result, you've got to work out in advance how you get to that end result. And my brain, I think, enjoys the sort of slight technical aspects of working that out and how we get to what we want. I did say to you, didn't I? I made 10 versions of the backpack before I was happy with it. So it's been through my own technical process there to get it right.
Yeah. This gal has a good work ethic, and for me, I have a lot of respect for someone who's going to do this, 10 times to get something that's you're really proud of. Yeah, you're really proud to share, and I am just thrilled to be able to bring this to you myself, because we've sold the ball for a long time, and it was one of the first things I felted over for the ball, but I've never taught how to felt over the ball, and a lot of that was there were parts that I just wanted to actually find a better solution for, but I never invested the time to do that, and just putting the pantyhose on the ball. Honestly, just putting the pantyhose on the ball is like this huge thing. My husband and I still laugh about trying to put the pantyhose on the ball and just the way we felted. But Natasha has changed the process so that I wouldn't have recognized it. I mean, wet felting over a ball, but it's such a different approach. It
Right.
makes it so easy, and you can do it by yourself. You don't need a
Yes.
partner. Our method, you always needed somebody there. So yeah, fantastic. Vay Butler says, the book is so great. I love that it gives specific measurements, instructions, so I don't have to think too much.
Thank you, V. Thank you for your support.
And the class is going to be the same way. And Francesca Nardi says, please, Marie, what do you think would be the class to take prior to doing this project? So I'll tell you that YouTube-wise, we have a free 2-part wet felting a vessel. It's ancient, but it's basic. And we're wet felting with a batting there. We use our MC1 batting, but use our Berg shaft batting. So use the Berg shaft batting, wet felt a vessel. We have a wet felting a grab and go beanie. We use a different type of fiber, but I do think that wet felting a something over a resist is one of the first places to start. So choose either the free YouTube, or in the school is the grab and go beanie and the fire bowl. The fire bowl is only 1 ounce. The beanie is probably between 2 and 3. It's not very much. It's a different fiber in those two, but you could use the same type of fiber and just learn how to wet felt over a resist. Our goal is always to help you make good felt. We want you to make something that's well felted, that's going to hold up to the purpose intended. If it's hanging on a wall, you can get away with it not being quite so felted, but a purse or a bag needs to be really well felted. So learn how to make a good felt first. It's a great, great question. We'll tell you, Nancy, all about the yarn. You'll get all that in the supply list, but you do suggest a high wool content.
For the yarns, yes.
Mohair or wool.
Yes.
Because mohair is it's kind of grabby.
Yes, it's all that extra hairiness bonds really easily with obviously the hairiness of the wool fibre. So yeah, perfect.
So it's going to be a great class. I hope y'all will make sure you sign up for the school. You can also join our email list on livingfelt.com. We will be making lots of noise about it. So will Natasha. So follow her on social media. Plan for a so what are we thinking then? Is it going to be like early bird around Thanksgiving?
Early bird around Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and goes live around December 2nd, probably.
I like it.
Now, I will tell y'all, if you're watching, Living Felt's going to be closed for Black Friday. I'm going to be sending out a letter soon. We're giving our staff the entire weekend off to be with family. We're
nice.
As a retailer, we're always open, but we've decided, family's more important than that. But the school will have specials. In fact, there's sales on right now today. So run over there, sign up, take advantage of the sales that are going on, and get on the list so you'll get that early bird notice. Some of the best prices are when the class is in early bird. You can get all your supplies, and we'll be making bags at Christmas time or Hanukkah time, whatever you celebrate, we're going to do that. All right, y'all. Oh, let's give away some prizes, shall we? So now you've all tuned in. Jordan's been writing down your names, and for the very first prize, Natasha has a very special gift. In fact, let's give away 2. We'll give away 1 too. So Natasha brought a copy of her book to give away, and it'll be signed. And if we have another copy here, we'll make it 2 signed, and if not, 1 signed, 1 not signed. So the first one's signed, okay? And we'll also give you a ball. So a copy of Natasha's book and a birthday ball. So you're going to draw a name. I'll draw one too. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. It's a treat, right? Isn't it special having her here? And her husband, Steve, is lovely, and he's floating around Texas somewhere today, probably buying cowboy boots. What do you think? eating queso and buying cowboy boots. All right. Who do you have?
So this is the signed copy.
This is the signed copy.
So this is Jessica Newport.
That's fantastic. Jessica Newport, and I have Susan Martin. So congratulations, y'all. You both win a copy of Natasha's book, and you win our Bertha Ball. There it is. Our Bertha Ball for wet felting over, and then they're going to be off and running. All you're going to need is some fiber. Listen, we are off next week, but in 2 weeks, we are back with another fantastic guest. My friend Charity Vandermeer is coming all the way from Holland to film another class. She already has 2 in the school. So if you're into felting wearables, come back first week of November, right? first week. The first week of November. So right after Halloween, we'll see ya, and let's do it again. In the meantime, y'all treat yourselves really well. We appreciate you.